Well, hello there, vinyl community. Elliot here, Lazy Dogs Records, and this is a vinyl community contest entry I'd like to do. Royce in the house has surpassed 200 videos he's made for the vinyl community, and he's pushing for 700 subscribers. He's about 645 last time I checked. So he's doing a little contest that goes on into early April, I believe. So I would encourage everyone. I'll put a link below. Link to Royce's channel and subscribe if you'd like, and enter his contest. Here's some of my collection using the parameters of Royce's contest. And we start off. He wants us to show 3 albums that feature instrumentals or songs that are 10 plus minutes long. I don't normally buy tone poets because they're so darn expensive, but I occasionally pick one up used, and I was very fortunate to get this near mint copy of The Cooker, Lee Morgan, and of course it's Lee Morgan on trumpet, Pepper Adams on baritone sax, Bobby Timmons on piano, Paul Chambers on bass, and Philly Joe Jones on drums. Excellent album, and love those photographs you get with the Blue Note records. And on side 1, there are only 2 songs, so both of them are hitting around the 10-minute mark. A Night in Tunisia and Heavy Dipper. I believe A Night in Tunisia will track just around or just over 10 minutes. Lee Morgan. Okay. And then the next is Coltrane Live at the Village Vanguard on Impulse. Okay. And this is, there's a great Coltrane photograph there. So John Coltrane, this is a reissue, of course, and his song Spiritual is 13 minutes and 30 seconds long. That's the first of 2 songs on side 1. Or I could go with side 2 is only 1 song, and it's Chasing the Train. It's 15 minutes and 55 seconds. So John Coltrane will be my next. And my third over 10-minute instrumental is from this album on Trip Jazz, Brown Gelder Roach, and it is called Best Coast Jazz from 1954. And of course, from the title, you know that it features Clifford Brown on trumpet, Herb Geller on alto saxophone, Joe Manny on also on saxophone, and Walter Benton on tenor saxophone. Kenny Drews playing the piano, Dave Cornice is on bass, and Max Roach on the drums. So Trip Jazz track or album, and there's only 1 song on each side, so we could do either one. Coronado is 19, almost 20 minutes long on side A, and You've Got to My Head is 17 minutes and 45 seconds on the B side. This is not an expensive record at all if you're into jazz or getting into jazz. Finding records like this or a golden opportunity to hear some of the greats and not pay tone poet or craft record prices and things like that. Okay, then we go to the 3 albums featuring great pianists or keyboardists. Hard to beat this one. Duke Ellington and Billy Strayhorn, piano duets. This is a Riverside, originally issued on Riverside, and it's a original jazz classics reissue from Fantasy Records. Duke Ellington, it's all Duke Ellington and Billy Strayhorn compositions, I believe, with a couple of exceptions. Great, great album featuring those two great pianists. And the budget Camden, RCA Camden label issued Quintessential Jazz series, and I like to go way back with the jazz to the very early days, and Fats Waller, and this is Sings and Swings, and he does Dinah and let's see, Swinging Them Jingle Bells, little Christmas song. You've Been Taking Lessons in Love, Supposing, but again, inexpensive jazz on that Camden, RCA Camden label. Not expensive. You don't have to pay a ton of money and get some really good stuff if you're building your jazz collection. And this is one I picked up used but in very good shape, and near mint, I would say, which you don't see much of when you're buying used. And Vince Guaraldi Trio, and we all know this album. We all know this music. People shouldn't always say we all know, or this, everybody should have this, or whatever, but most of us know this music. And it comes in Christmas green vinyl. And again, it's one of those fantasy releases. They keep this, you can imagine this album stays in demand, and so it gets repressed a lot. Love this, and you don't have to wait until Christmas to play it. All right, and then he wanted 3 soundtracks. From 1962, the black exploitation film Superfly, featuring the music of Curtis Mayfield, and the movie starring Ron O'Neal. And I remember going to see this movie in the movie theater. 72, I would be 13, getting ready to turn 14 years old. Got in there somehow. I don't know. I think it was because one of my classmates sold the ticket, was at the ticket booth at the movie theater, and we got in to see a whole lot of things that maybe we might not have been eligible for under the rating system. And then 2 from 1980, the great autobiography of Miss Loretta Lynn, coal miner's daughter, and Sissy Spacek. There's Sissy playing the title part, and she does all the singing in the movie and on the soundtrack of Loretta. And so you're not hearing Loretta on this soundtrack at all. You're hearing Sissy Spacek doing her interpretation of Loretta. Album was produced by the great Nashville producer Owen Bradley, and it also features, if you remember the movie, Patsy Cline played was a major part of the movie. Beverly D'Angelo played Patsy Cline, so there's several Patsy Cline songs on here that Beverly D'Angelo plays. Coal miner's daughter, and her father, Loretta's father, was played by Levon Helms of the band. And let's see. Finally, this is kind of a movie that went under the radar. It wasn't a big hit, but had some major stars in it, and I thought it was a really very good very good movie, telling the story of that shady, kind of sketchy underworld of the carnival barkers and the folks working in the carnivals. It was called Carney, and it stars some major stars. Gary Busey. This is from 1980, also 1980, and Jodie Foster plays in this. That you can see, and Robbie Robertson of the band. So there's another band connection in soundtracks. The album is side A is music from Robbie Robertson. It's called the Midway Music side, and then the themes and variations is by Alex North, and that's on side B. So there are 3 soundtracks. And finally, the last thing he said, if you wanted to do a bonus question was to show an album. In this case, I have a box set that features a poster. Okay, not a postcard. He said it needed to be a poster. And so I'll show you this little 4-record box set from his Golden Messenger. And I love the artwork on here. It's called Devotion, Songs About Rivers, Spirits, and Children. And it consists of, I'll show you the albums, and then I'll show you the poster, and then we'll be done. It consists of an album called Poor Moon. Then an album called Hall. Hall is a river around where he lives. He's from California originally, but his Golden Messenger is really one person. But he moved to North Carolina and lives around that Hall River area. Bad Debt. And finally, Vertigo Fool. Okay. And it comes with two things I guess you could call posters. One's, maybe 10 by 10, something like that. And I'm assuming that this was a limited issue box set, because it's got a number here, 1,993, and I don't know how many, I'm not sure. But here's the actual poster if we want to be technical about it. And all kinds of symbols used here. Okay. So, there we go with Hiss the Golden Messenger. Word of advice, unsolicited advice. Be careful when you have these box sets. They will slide in and out of the boxes very easily. I learned the hard way. So when you put them back in and take them, put them back on the shelf or take them off the shelf, be careful, because they will come sliding out very easily oftentimes if they're not, when you've got a, opening here like this. Okay, so there are my albums I'd like to share with you for Royce's little contest, vinyl community contest. If you will, please subscribe to Royce's channel. If you're interested in my channel, I'd encourage you to subscribe to it, but feel no obligation at all to do so. I'm kind of in a little niche with a lot of bluegrass and folk music and jazz, stuff like that. I don't venture into the rock nearly as much, but if any of that is of interest to you, then you might be interested in my channel, and I'd love to have you subscribe and watch some of my videos. A couple of humorous ones every once in a while, or at least my attempt at humor. I guess you be the judge whether I pull it off or not. But mostly just showing records, telling about artists, and doing discographies of some artists, sometimes things like that. Anyway, I'll just remind everybody to be kind to your neighbors, folks, because we are all neighbors. Take care now.